If you're like me, it's really easy to get caught up in the highlight reel of the homesteader IG aesthetic. You get on Instagram or Pinterest and you see all these beautiful photos and videos of farm animals, little kids running in rolling pastures, and you just think it looks so magical and beautiful, and you really want that life. And while I know there's definitely budget-friendly ways to buy land and start a homestead, for most of us, the startup expenses, this just not doable, at least at the stage of life we're in right now. Another reason why a lot of people feel like they can't homestead is the time commitment that it would take. For us, my husband has a job that he loves and is amazing at. Homesteading on a large acreage just wouldn't be an option for us. I get asked a lot on Instagram if we are homesteaders because we have a really, really large yard. It's about 1.5 acres, which I am so thankful for. But I think a lot of times people think it looks like a homestead, but it's not. We fully live in town and we have next door neighbors. We have a lot of privacy, which I'm thankful for. When we first bought this property about 1 year ago, I decided that I wanted to utilize this beautiful large yard to basically create a suburban homestead, some place that we could learn to be a little bit more self-sufficient, and we could also teach our kids all about growing their own food. If this is also you, if you live in town, maybe even in the city, but you want to start learning how to be a little bit more self-sufficient, then here are a few of the ways that we have done this on a property in town. I'll start with the most obvious. Having a garden is a really great way to learn how to be self-sufficient. I also love gardening because it's so attainable for so many different people. Even if you're in an apartment, you can grow something on your balcony. You can also grow herbs in your kitchen. There are so many different ways. Just start really small and see where it leads you. This is probably my 6th or 7th vegetable garden, and I have to say that the longer you do it and the more you do it, the more you will figure out what vegetables are easy to grow in your climate, or maybe what vegetables you prefer to grow. My kids absolutely love helping in the garden, and it's been such a bonding experience for us since we've been doing this. Another thing that we have added to our home in the last year is our ducks and our chickens. Obviously, this is a little bit more limited depending on if you're an HOA that doesn't allow chickens. Honestly, one of the biggest reasons that we bought this property is because it's not in an HOA, and I really have wanted to have chickens for the last 10 plus years. It's been my dream. This is something that I love because we get to raise them, we get to teach our kids how to raise them and take care of them, and then we also get to benefit from having farm fresh eggs. Another option that we're looking into that I'm really excited about is beekeeping. Many HOAs don't actually have any type of guideline around beekeeping, so it may be something that you can do without even getting permission. Beekeeping is a really cool way to bring pollinators to your garden and then also to produce your own raw honey that you can use in your kitchen or even sell. Of course, there are a million ideas of how you could be a urban or suburban homesteader, but one that comes to mind is just simply teaching your family to make things at home. Getting in the kitchen together and teaching your kids how to bake bread, how to mill your own flour. If you've never cooked from scratch, this can also seem really daunting. Again, this is something that if you start really small and wait until you've mastered one skill to move on to the next, it becomes so much more doable. Tomorrow is actually me and my husband's 11-year anniversary, and he has been out of town for a day or two, so I am getting the house ready for us to be able to have a little date in tonight once he gets home. For me, a house reset includes cleaning out the refrigerator, doing some grocery shopping so that we're restocked on everything. And one thing that I typically do is grocery delivery. That has been a huge lifesaver for me since we had our 4th. One of the ways that I keep things manageable in my kitchen is that I don't really do extensive meal planning or follow recipes all that much. We typically have a large amount of protein in our deep freeze that I've sourced from local grass-fed farms. So I will usually pull out a few cuts of meat, and then in my grocery shopping, whatever we cannot get from the garden, I will pick up from the store, and then that will become our sides to go with our proteins. As the weather has gotten quite a bit warmer recently, I am starting to make popsicles again. This is something that I make every summer. All summer long, we usually have a batch in the freezer ready to go. And this recipe is especially delicious because it is fudgsicles, and my kids are absolutely obsessed with these. I created this recipe because I wanted to find a way to hide beef liver in my kids' food, which may sound crazy, but beef liver has so many nutrition benefits to it. It is basically like a multivitamin, but because it's completely food-based, it's much easier to absorb the vitamins in a beneficial way. It's hard to get kids to eat beef liver. Whenever I try to hide beef liver in something, I find that a chocolate flavor tends to hide it better. For this recipe, I used yogurt, so we have some good protein from the yogurt, and then I added about 6 to 8 capsules of beef liver from Ancestral Supplements into the blender with this and blended it all together, and it came out so delicious. The kids had no idea that there was any beef liver in these popsicles. For our dinner date tonight, I decided to make one of our favorite sides, which is roasted broccoli with hot honey. I don't actually have a very set recipe for it. I just kind of dump everything together and it always turns out delicious. I put some olive oil on some chopped broccoli, season it with salt, pepper, everything bagel seasoning, and a little zested lemon. After that, I just mix everything together and get it really well coated, and then top it off with a drizzle of hot honey for a little extra kick and flavor. I roast this in the oven at 400 for about 15 to 20 minutes. Another side I'm making tonight are these Cheddar Bay Biscuits. They are so delicious because they're made with fresh milled flour and sourdough. I love making these biscuits to complement any weeknight dinner, and I will include this recipe in the description. My husband's favorite dinner is by far ribeye steaks, so that is what I'm making for him tonight. But I wanted to take them to the next level to make it feel a little fancier, so I decided to make raw herbed butter. Raw butter is actually so easy to make. I simply strain about 2 cups of raw cream from the top of our raw farm milk and then beat that in the KitchenAid until the curds separate. Next, I strain out all of the buttermilk till it's just the solid butter left over. Make sure you save that buttermilk to use in future recipes, and then I rinse it under cold water until a nice soft butter forms. I decided on chopped parsley and chives for this herbed butter, and I also added some minced garlic for extra flavor. If you didn't salt the cream when you were making the butter, make sure you do that now. Then simply roll up the parchment paper and place this in the fridge to harden. I think my husband's really going to enjoy this anniversary dinner, and as always, thanks for joining me in my kitchen.